Now that I've got my SolidWorks part pretty much where I want it, I need to export it into Mastercam to be machined. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is save this file as, and if I save it as a Parasolid, it should open right up inside Mastercam. Parasolid is a nice way to export files so that they're openable on a variety of other software. Something else I need to do in order to get this into Mastercam, I also need to export his stripes. Inside SolidWorks, I really haven't done anything with his stripes yet. So, what good is a tiger without his stripes? I'm actually going to wind this back a little bit. So I just have his stripes. This is kind of nice. You can roll these back. I'm going to go File, make a drawing from this part. Oh, before I do that, I need to add one piece of information. Let's open that sketch up and add a point right down to the origin so that I have some frame of reference. Alright, we'll agree to this sketch. We'll go to File, make a drawing from part. This is how it often comes up. Click on this, and I like landscape myself for these smaller, A-size drawing landscape. Comes open, insert, drawing view, model. Next. What would you like to bring in? Let's try this front view. Front's no good. How about top view? And we brought in just my tiger stripes. I'm going to save this. It's Tiger 1 extrusion. Save. Gives me a little message saying everything else must be saved too. Okay. And I can actually close this one. Open up Mastercam. New. I will open. First thing I'll do is open the Parasolid file. Open up my tiger. Now Mastercam, it did come in. It is there. Unfortunately, it also came in on edge. Top in SolidWorks is not top in Mastercam. So to fix that, come in from the right hand side. X-form, rotate all entities, move 90 degrees, gives you a little preview, and do it. There. Now when we hit top, we've got our little purple bobcat here. And we'll clear colors. We'll also bring in his stripes here, and to do that I need File, Merge, Pattern. Merge is what you use when you bring in two drawings on top of each other. Find just my SolidWorks drawing files. Brings this all in. Just going to agree to it where it's at. I'm going to shut off my solid so I can see this. What I'd like to do is erase all this border stuff, but you have to be careful that you leave this one little point here because that guy is your origin. So erase all the title block and border and just make that go away, and translate these entities from this point over to the origin. And now if we turn on the solid layer, the tiger has his stripes. What we're looking at here is the individual surfaces that actually make up our tiger. And I assigned toolpaths to those surfaces on the left hand side here. Seeing as this is a SolidWorks training video and not a Mastercam training video, I'll just give you the short version. We'll verify these toolpaths. Start with a 1/4 inch cutter, a flat 1/4 inch cutter, to remove the bulk of the material. Then followed it up with an 1/8 inch flat cutter, and this is probably where I would use a 1/8 inch tapered end mill to give my taper into the part. I didn't simulate that when I drafted that. I didn't put any draft angle when I extruded it in SolidWorks because I knew I was going to come back with a drafted end mill in here. That's possibly cheating, but my fillets worked out then, so there were some pros and cons involved here. Once my 1/8 inch is done, I come in with a 1/16 inch end mill, and he cleans up what the 1/8 inch missed in those little nooks and crannies, specifically in there by his chin. Here comes the 1/4 inch ball end mill that starts putting in my curvature of my body here. All my freeform surfaces are now being done with this 1/4 inch end mill. Here comes my 1/8 inch ball end mill. Zoom in there and show you what it's up to. You can just barely see this mitten in the background, but his background paw is there. And this toolpath would take a very long time to actually run. This is about how fast it would run. Maybe a bit faster. And you can see my step over of my cutter is set so that I'm getting a fairly smooth finish, but not an ultimately smooth finish. The reason for that is because there's always a compromise between speed and how close you really need those lines together. Here goes his tail. And we're done. Now it's time to give this tiger his stripes. In order to do that, I'm going to turn on the level of his stripes level I brought in from SolidWorks. And if I turn this all into a wireframe, we should be able to see those. Yeah, they're back there. And I'm going to use a projected curve. So I'm going to X-form, project. The entities to project, I want to grab everything on level 2. Done selecting, and I would like to copy those onto a surface. And before I do this, if I check use new attributes until it put these on level 4, and I can even change the color if I wish, but I like the green, that's okay. But I want them all to my level 4 layer, which I've made my new projected curves layer. select surfaces. It's hard to see which surfaces to grab here unless I shade everything with the blue ball here. And I'm going to try this main layer in here on his tail, the other side of his tail. Let's grab up here on his head. And I think that'll do it. Let's try that. It's trying to do it. Maybe a minute here. And I believe it did it. Let's find out. If I wireframe this again. Alright, now I have two sets of stripes. The red should be my original. They should be flat. And my purple should be floating up here in the air. They are. Let's turn off the surfaces. That helps us see this a little bit better. You see how all my red ones are on one level on the floor here, and the purple ones are all up in the air. So, alright. Let's turn off level 2 and do some machining. Here comes in with my new toolpath and new cutter. That's not looking too bad. But I'm seeing one small problem here. If we roll it around onto his back and look at his back, where that cutter went over and then down the curve on the fillets here, it really dinged into his back pretty badly. But for these curves, these stripes don't go too far into this fillet. And I didn't grab this front fillet up here when I was projecting the curves, so nothing bad happened in here like on the front part of his legs. These all stop in by that curve, so I think I'll redo this projected curve and not run it all the way out his back. Let's see how his head turned out here. Now, one place I may change my mind on that is up here in his on his nose where his eyeball is. I kind of like that up in there, and maybe on his furrowed brow. So we'll see what happens with that. So we'll go back. Alright, so I'm going to X-form, project, entities to project all, level 2, onto a surface. Let's make sure we use new attributes. That surface is going to be just this surface, this main surface here. So we'll try the main freeform one and see what the result is. This time it did it, and you see it stopped them short of going over this fillet. If we zoom in on this, the original is in red and the new one is in purple, and it doesn't go over that edge. So I think we're going to be okay this time. We'll try it. Don't know how that's going to quite work on his eye. I don't know if I like that or not. And here's his new stripes. They look a lot like his old stripes, except in here on his back, they're no longer dinging into his backbone. I think I like the old tail better, possibly. See how his eye turned out up here. This eye isn't bad, but I think I liked I think I liked his old eye maybe a little bit better, and his furrowed brow I think I liked a little better. Kind of hard to tell with this tool just sort of hovering there. But you get the idea what we can do inside Mastercam.